Thank you very much. I actually enjoy very much all these conversations that we had with Hamid, Leah, and everyone. And congratulations actually to the REACH teams for making it to this place. It seems it's an amazing program. I like to hear more. It's the first time I come across the program, so. Um, so yeah, I'm managing director at the Stanford Sustainability Accelerator. But before I go to explain what we are building here, I wanted to give you an overview of how it all came about here at Stanford and the Doerr School of Sustainability. I don't know if many of you know about the Stanford Doerr School of Sustainability. How many are? Okay, all right. So let's explain a little bit of the background. So some of you may know that Stanford is made of 6 different schools: the School of Engineering, Business, Medicine, Education, Humanity and Sciences, and Law, until 2022, when the Doerr School of Sustainability was, hello? Does it, this one? Oh, yeah. One less. I think there is a little bit of a delay. Yeah. So until 2022, when the Stanford Doerr School of Sustainability was created, and this was a new school in over 70 years. So for 70 years, nothing has happened, and in the last, and then it was created, the Stanford Sustainability School, which is 3 years old only. And that was propelled by one of the biggest donations to an academic institution. It was 1.1 billion given by a venture capitalist investor, John Doerr, and his wife Anne, and this is why the name of the Doerr School of Sustainability. This was an all kind of campus effort. All the schools came together with this common vision of creating a future where humans and nature thrives in concert and perpetuity. And this requires reimagining academia and its value to society. So we had to do things a little bit different. Coming back to what it was said in the other panel, we had to operate in different ways. We not only had to think about or develop deep understanding of Earth, climate, and society, but we also needed to co-create and importantly implement those scalable solutions in collaboration with the partners worldwide. So this is like a global kind of idea, and this Stanford Sustainability Accelerate, the Stanford Sustainability School, it's not just only knowledge-based, but very action and impact-driven. So here it's again our vision for the school. Again. No, yeah. Yeah, here we are. So this was created, they came a lot of different departments, programs, institute together from the different schools that you can see here. And as we are developing that school, new programs are coming up. For instance, we are developing now a Sustainability Society Institute, where it's going to be environmental justice, as well as earth systems, etc. They created last year, for instance, a Human and Planetary Health Center. And we believe that there's going to be new opportunities and new institutes and progress coming up from that very, very young school. But one thing that our investors, or our donors, and our leadership team decided is that we needed a sustainability accelerator to launch some of the impactful solutions at speed and scale. And this is what I'm going to be talking about, the accelerator that launches impact solutions at speed and scale. And again, a scale that it's been mentioned before, it's going to be very, very important from day one. So Stanford Sustainability Accelerator. Let me move here. So the Stanford Sustainability Accelerator, even though that was created, the idea of it in 2022, 2023, it's still really, in all earnest, it started about a year ago. So it's a baby still. We are still learning by doing. So we operate like a startup ourselves. A year or a year and a half ago. And it's not an accelerator like a startup accelerator, as you may think, but what we are doing is speed up the translation of Stanford research into scalable technology and policy solutions to address urgent global sustainability challenges. And we put a lot of emphasis on the scalability. So again, we think about the scale from day one and urgency, because these are very pressing issues. So one thing that we recognize is that this translation of research, if we leave it alone, it's too slow, it's random. It's just not, it may happen something, it may have like some impactful solutions, but not enough and not at the scale that we want it to be. So we needed some catalytic activities that really help the teams think about the scale and the impact on day one. And this requires a mindset shift. Which is part of what we're doing at the Accelerator. We're creating the structure so that people, teams, academics, faculty, students start to think differently in the academic world. And so how do we do this? How do we turn these ideas into impact at scale? So we start with the end in mind. Instead of just experimenting and saying, okay, it's quite cool what I'm investigating without thinking beyond, we don't do that. We start with the end in mind, which we call the flagship destinations. These are like nothing else that very ambitious and aspirational goals that have the potential of impact at the scale. For instance, we want to reduce a gigaton per year of greenhouse gases. It's aspirational, but it helps us focus. And then we work backwards to identify knowledge gaps, risks, and barriers along these plausible scaling pathways. And we work with faculty, internal faculty teams, as well as external stakeholders to identify these gaps and barriers. And once identified, we run, you would call it open call, we call it RFPs, requests for proposals internally, and then we select and fund the teams that really align with those flagships and address some of the gaps or the barriers that we identify. Now, the projects that we are selecting are interdisciplinary in nature because, of course, sustainability is a complex issue and requires this kind of holistic approach for solving these problems. So we not only have technical solutions, we also have policy solutions, equity, we think about market, supply chains, finance, you name it. Anything is possible to get included into the accelerator. So once we have them in the accelerator, then again, we close the loop. We work a lot with all the external stakeholders globally, not just only Silicon Valley or America, globally, to help those solutions externalize and be sustainable outside Stanford. And we think about this impact and externalization of Stanford in very broad terms. So for us, for instance, commercialization is a path to externalize the solution, but it's not the only path. A lot of our teams are thinking about externalizing solutions by creating an NGO or an open platform, or they want to create a new standard, or they want a policy, change a policy, or they create a Netflix series that it's watched by, I don't know, millions of people in the world. This is an impactful solution and an impactful result. So with this kind of constant, continuous, frequent feedback from within the university and from outside the university, that allows us to go with the speed that we want and characteristic of this accelerator. Well, so what are our focus areas? We have started with 8 different focus areas that we call it flagship destinations and cross-cutting platforms, which are the following. Okay. So flagship destinations, we have these topic areas, which is greenhouse gas removal, climate adaptation, food and agriculture, water, grid and electricity systems, and industry. They are all working towards these very specific targets, which is reducing gigaton per year of greenhouse gases and improving the life of 1 billion people by 2035. So these are what helps us focus. And then we have these two cross-cutting platforms which supports any of these flagship destinations into achieve the targets. Again, biology for sustainability, self-explanatory, and planetary intelligence, it refers to anything related to measurement of our planetary systems or anything from water, land, humans, etc., using AI tools, fusion, and new mechanisms, and then providing actionable insights. So we can bring projects along all these different topic areas. And where we are now is we have active greenhouse gas removal projects. They've been running for 1 year now. This was the first set of projects that run under this structure. And we just selected the climate adaptation and the planetary intelligence projects. This is the request for proposals that we launch and that we are waiting for. All right, so here, this is the example of projects that are running under the greenhouse gas removal flagship for you to have a view of the wealth of projects and the interdisciplinary and diversity of projects that we have in the cohort. So you can see that we have atmospheric, terrestrial, oceanic technologies working alongside more transversal projects, working in MRV, so measurement, reporting and verification, or risk analysis, TEA. And what I wanted to show you here is that we, in this first trial of projects, we had like a big gap in policy and social impact. We are getting better at that in the second round. But we realized very quickly that to scale some of the, it's only, I need to go quickly. 3 minutes, okay. So to scale some of the solutions, we needed to build like a policy vertical, and now we are developing now a whole team directed to that. Is that real? 3 minutes? Okay. I can go quicker, or I can jump some slides. Yeah, okay. All right. Another thing that I wanted to say maybe before that point here, apart from the policy, is like all these projects are coming mainly from within. We can fund projects that are coming from inside Stanford. They are led by professors there. However, many of these teams are working in collaboration with external people. Could be a startup, could be industry, could be anybody. We are very, very flexible in the funding. However, we know that not all the good solutions are coming from Stanford. We are very aware of that. We just really want to bring great ideas from the outside world and globally. So we just developed a program last year on bringing, we call it entrepreneurial postdoctoral fellowships. We run one every year, and we bring ideas from outside. These people come with their own idea, and then they enter into the program, and we support them in their entrepreneurial journey so that they can exit Stanford in 1 or 2 years. And we are going to repeat that program again because it seems very successful. This year applied people from Japan, from Germany, I don't know if from Sweden or Norway. I don't think so. So you can, pass that message. But we try to bring great minds from all over the world. And these are very, very quick examples of the type of projects that have been running for a while. There are many more, but these just quick 3 examples, which are almost ready to commercialize some of the solutions in the next 6 months. So one is an all-in-one electrochemical cell. I don't know who is very familiar. I will go very quickly. But they are doing marine CDR, carbon dioxide removal. And what they realize is that if you do carbon storage, it's not enough to have a business. But actually, they created this cell where they could store electricity. They could create a chemical, like hydrogen chloride, which could then sell, so they have a different revenue stream, because also can restore marine biodiversity. So suddenly they had a business model that could be, that was interested with some of the industries, and now they are gonna do a pilot now on offshore wind turbines with one company. So they are very, very ready to exit. Another one on biochar. Biochar, I don't know how much you know, but this is like a sort of charcoal that comes from organic waste. But so far, all the technologies that exist are too expensive to be implemented in the real world. But this team, they developed like a new technology that actually cuts in half the lowest price available. So suddenly scale can be unlocked. And again, they are also thinking about creating a company. And the last one is enhanced weathering. So they are really crunching rocks, which allows us to store carbon in a much quicker way than another system. But so far, any of these crunching rocks, again, the process are too expensive and too energy intensive. So this team developed like a new reaction, which allowed to create new minerals that absorb carbon dioxide much quicker, and actually it's much less energy intense, and suddenly it becomes economically viable, and they can unlock a scale as well. So these are 3 quick examples. Very quickly, where are we now? So we have these projects running. We just selected the 25 projects in climate adaptation and planetary intelligence, which start to run now in April. We are now selecting the rest of the projects in all the other flagships. So, and we are gonna select them by May. So this means that next year, like this August, September, we'll have 90 to 100 projects running in parallel that we will be supporting. And this, we think, it gives you the mass to actually start shifting the mindset of the university or the groups there. And then we provide tailor in-time support to these teams, because everyone is at different stages. Some of the professors didn't even knew what was a commercialization path. So we have to work with different teams. We have lots of them, but one of the things that we are doing is asking the right questions at the very beginning about scale, about business models, commercialization. Sometimes you don't even need to use those words, but slowly shifting the mindset towards that. And then something that we saw is how important a cohort is. It's better the creation of that cohort. It's bigger than the sum of the individual parts. We see a lot of cross-fertilization. We have teams from the medicine department, from psychology departments, from technology departments, engineering. So this is we find it very powerful. And again, fostering connections externally with people like you. So that's our everyday life at the Accelerator. And just to finalize, this is the team. We had actually two more people that we were hiring. Yesterday they accepted the position, so now the team is full. And that's everything I wanted to say. Thank you.
Do have some time for questions. Very exciting to learn about this. May I ask a first question? So how we could get our Nordic teams better involved?
So there's many, yes, sorry. Hello? There's different ways. So we are always looking for reviewers, for instance. We are looking for mentors. A lot of these teams, we are also providing mentorship. A mentorship, people that it's working as a startup, I think it's very valuable because they tend not to see this type of activity. So that would be good. Other is just when we have events, come along, talk to the teams. If you want to get involved with some of these projects, it's good to start talking with these professors and these teams at the very beginning, because you can be part of those projects as well. So there are several, like, let's say, entry points here. Yeah. Yeah.
So the Stanford culture is already very innovative, especially in the business world, and you hear about a lot of startups coming out of Stanford. How is it to bridge that way of thinking into those departments that are more scientific and structured, similar to maybe this the group that's coming here to the US as well? How do you teach that?
Well, so it's true that Stanford actually has a lot of startup accelerator for students. But we are trying to de-risk very hard problems to solve, that if they go through this kind of quick path, many fail. And that's where the gap we're trying to bridge here. Many of these clean tech companies failed with the standard venture capital model. So what we are trying to do is de-risk as much as possible. And one of the challenges that we are having is these professors will never be the entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs will be people working with those professors, which can be the collaborator in the team, or it could be like a student. And then we need to find a way, and I don't have the answer to that, of creating those teams that externalize and support. So we are working on that side, because the startup side is quite well established already in Stanford, in Berkeley, etc. here. But we are tackling the most challenging problems, these ones which maybe you don't have like a quick VC, solution for. I don't know if I answered the, yeah. I think there was a. So the pathways can be multiple. We are always working with other accelerators. We are in connection, so some of these projects may end up in the Y Combinator. But we work on a one-to-one basis at the moment, and we will see how this will go. The moment we only have 20 projects. When we have 100, we probably need to change a little bit the model. No, we can. So first, it has to be led by a professor at Stanford. That's the only thing, because the mechanism of sending the funding cannot only go through that. So you will need to find a collaborator which is within Stanford. But then the stage where you are, it doesn't matter. We wanted to do it only. So we changed that over the times. We realized that not many teams are ready to think about the scale. So it doesn't matter now. As long as the potential solution is impactful, we will work with the teams to get them ready to externalize.
Thank you.